Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Romaine Diabetic Support Group's monthly meet and vlog. This is a forum where we shall explore non-communicable diseases and seek to educate persons on the need to live healthy lifestyle, prevent and or manage lifestyle diseases. The objective of this program is to meet with our group members and allow them the opportunity to share any misconceptions and to clear up those misconceptions that may be debarring them or preventing them from attaining optimum health. I am Lyndon Gums, chairman of the Romaine Diabetic Support Group. This month, I would like for us to look at diabetes, of course, because it's a nice place to begin because we are a diabetic support group. So many people over the years would have said to me that diabetes is a condition that can be cured. So this morning, as we meet for the first time, I invite members to speak freely, noting that this is recording, and we will post this on YouTube, where we can reach out to other persons. Yeah. So as it relates to diabetes, over the years, being a diabetic educator, I would have been told that one, diabetes can be cured by using Saijan, moringa. It can be cured by cutting up okra, putting it in water overnight, leaving it to soak, and in the morning you drink it. And when you drink it, your sugar levels become normal, and therefore there is no need to take medication. I've been told over the years that cinnamon and Karaili or anything bitter would be able to cure diabetes. Does it? What do you all think? What are the views of our listening audience this morning? Do you all think that moringa, cinnamon, Karaili, or anything bitter would be able to cure diabetes?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing a yes. So over the years, it has been my job as diabetes educator to share with persons about diabetes. So exactly what is diabetes? What is it? Is it something that comes and goes away? Or is it something that is long-term? And I'm saying something at this point in time that is long-term and stays with you for the rest of your natural life. What are your thoughts? So one thing we need to understand is diabetes is a chronic disease. One would think that over the years, being told that, persons would be understanding of that and accepting of that. But the more that one is told that diabetes is a chronic disease, other persons from different places and different forums would come to the forefront and they would share and they would say that diabetes can be reversed. There is no need for you to take medication. All you need to do is probably drink a particular herb, and this will cure your diabetes. So therefore, even though you may have been told that you are diabetic and it is a chronic disease, meaning that it is long lasting, we have these persons coming to the forefront and sharing their information and saying that you can drink this or you can do this, and therefore there's no need to take medication. What are your thoughts?
I have no thoughts.
No thoughts.
As you said there, Linda, it's good morning, by the way. Good morning, everyone. As you said, it's a lifestyle disease, and by taking herbs, it would not cure it because I mean it's something that is there in your system, and you need to take your medication as well as do the other activities that we have been taught before to manage your diabetes, which is proper diet and exercise together with your medication. Those are the only three combinations that can properly manage your diabetes. Otherwise, you'll just be fooling yourself and telling yourself your diabetes under control. Actually, it is not. You're just hiding it.
And that is correct. So many times when persons would say that the eating of Karaili or drinking of okra water can cure diabetes, I look at them and I would say, okay, so in my opinion, I feel that it may help, but to cure diabetes at this point in time, the information that we have, there's no cure for diabetes. So there's a different C to cure, which is control. So diabetes can be controlled. So it would be good for us to understand exactly what is diabetes. So diabetes is a medical condition whereby there is a buildup of sugar or glucose in the body, because the reason being why this sugar is building up in the body is because there's a gland in each of our bodies called the pancreas. And the pancreas produces a hormone called insulin that is very influential in keeping blood sugar level normal. So as a person gets older and they develop diabetes, what is happening actually is that the pancreas is not producing enough insulin. Sitting with that conception, if someone was supposed to come and say to you that you can now drink this herb, or you can now do this and stop take your medication, people go as far as to say that there's no need to bother with eating and all of that. Diabetes is just a whole big hoax. Understanding that it's a medical condition and it involves the production of insulin that is not being produced in the right quantity. What are your thoughts on that?
Ma'am.
So another thing that we need to look at is the lifestyle factor. Because in looking at diabetes, there are different factors that contribute to a person becoming diabetic. One is hereditary, meaning that a person's mother, father, brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandparent may have been diabetic. And because it is in your biological makeup, it is in your genes, that is one factor. There are two other factors that we pay very close attention to. And those factors are, one, if you are overweight or obese, meaning that your body mass index is over 24.9, that would say that you are overweight. And if your body mass index, which is your weight to your height, is over 30, it means that you are obese. Those factors contribute or play a great role in a person becoming diabetic. So example, we would have persons saying that they do not have any family member who is diabetic, but they may be overweight and obese, and therefore that is a contributing factor. The other factor is that of lifestyle. Not eating properly and lack of exercise. Many times when we think about not eating properly, we think about eating too much. And we say that persons become diabetic because they eat too much. Though that may be so, we never pay attention to the fact of not eating enough and not eating on time, missing meals. Example, a person would get up in the morning and they would have a cup of coffee. And this is something that I would have heard over the years. A cup of coffee, go through the entire day, no eating, probably water, and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the person would now have their first meal. That is also a contributing factor. So when we think about poor diet, we don't only think about a person overeating, or a person eating a whole set of sweets, but we also look at the person not eating on time. I acknowledge Veronica has her hand raised. Veronica?
Hi, morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I want to find out, right, especially in this time that we're living in, how you're going to maneuver, because you're supposed to eat certain things, but yet still, you know, you might be just able to get up in the morning and probably have a piece of roti with some, say, body or something. You might not be able to afford to buy all these different things that you need to put on your plate. What would you suggest that you do? Because we know things are very expensive now. So what would you suggest in terms of someone that wants to eat healthy, but might not be able to afford or have all these different things on your plate? What would you suggest?
Thank you very much for the question. So in reality, Veronica, eating healthy doesn't require a person to have all these things. So when you say all these things, exactly what do you mean?
I know that you show us the plate in terms of portion, and you have to eat to get different things out of the plate. So you need your rice, and you need your peas, and you need your salad, and you need your meat. And so that is what I'm talking about. Somebody might be only able to have rice and peas alone.
Yes.
And not the other things. So that is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Or you might be able to just eat a piece of roti in the morning with some booty, because that is all you might have to eat.
Right.
Right? So that's what I'm talking about.
Very good. You could keep your mic unmuted so we can have a conversation this morning. That's what we're about this morning, having conversation. So, when you talk about persons being limited in the amount of food that they may have access to because they may not be able to go out or they don't have the money to purchase it. Eating healthy in reality isn't very expensive, but from a diabetic point of view, from that perspective as to how a person's supposed to be eating healthy, we look at the plating method. It's a very easy method. So we look at quarter of your plate being carbs, quarter of your plate being protein, and half of your plate being vegetables. So therefore, it is about quantity, right? So example, you may have roti. That is what you have. But you eat quarter roti. That is what is important. Then you may have, let's say, you might have egg, you may have sausage, you may have bodi, as you would have said. So that will take up the next quarter of your plate. And then half of your plate can be cooked or raw vegetables. So half of your plate could be lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes. It don't have to be all those things, but it could be what you have and what is available to you. So basically, you are using what you have, what is available to you, but you are following the concept, which is to plate your food in smaller portions.
All right. I understand what you're saying, but presently, I mean, you're really not allowed, or you can't really go out even to the market to get all these vegetables that you need to eat at this point in time. Because I ain't leaving my house to go Shagonas for no vegetables to go and expose myself to no COVID. Right? I will not do that, honestly. I prefer to eat what it is I have now, and when the time reach, I will go, but I would not be frequenting like every week, because it's like every week you need to purchase certain things because it will go bad in the fridge. Like
Yes.
cucumber and tomatoes, it only lasts for a certain period of time. So then, you probably might need to go every week, as everybody will normally go to the market every weekend, or probably every 2 weeks, So if you don't have the vegetables, so you can just probably have the roti and whatever you have, if you don't have the vegetables?
So if you don't have the vegetables and you really can't get it, then you still have to portion your food as it relates to the carb content, quarter plate, right? And then the protein, quarter plate. And I would hope that persons will be able to get some sort of vegetables. You know, I'm hearing that you're saying that persons may not, but I am hopeful that persons will still be able to cut up some lettuce, you know, have some cabbage, you know, there's a wide range of vegetables that would actually stay very good in the fridge. And I mean, cucumbers, for my experience, cucumbers stay a while. Cucumbers will last 2 weeks in my fridge and they won't rot, they won't spoil. So I'm hopeful, Veronica, to answer your question, I'm hopeful that persons will still be able to. However, if you don't, then my advice would be to maintain the carb content, which is quarter plate, and then maintain the protein, which is quarter plate.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you for those questions. So this morning we are looking at, for those of us joining on, we are looking at diabetes. And we are saying that diabetes is a chronic disease. There isn't a cure for diabetes. We are saying that it is long term. Yeah, a person cannot be cured from diabetes because that's a misconception, but a person can control their blood sugar levels. We are also saying that it's a medical condition where the pancreas isn't producing enough insulin. And we are saying that lifestyle factors would contribute to a person becoming diabetic. If a person is overweight or obese, if a person isn't eating properly or exercising, these things would contribute. And, you know, as Veronica would have spoken to the pandemic, one of my concerns as a diabetic educator is, one, after the pandemic is over, I wonder if we would have new cases of diabetes. And two, our well-controlled diabetics, would they be still well-controlled? What are your thoughts?
Definitely, you will see an increase. And right now, I am having a problem controlling mine because my exercise activities has stopped because I am no longer going out to walk. And we are inside the house doing nothing whole day, just eating.
And eating.
And sleeping. And eating and sleeping. And that's about it. So I think that you're going to see and some people will have problems managing it at its time. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Nizam. And that is very that's very true, because persons depend on going out and take a jog, take a run to exercise, because exercise is a very important factor in managing diabetes. But can we do other things in the house, even as we are in a state of emergency, even as we are on a lockdown with limitations and we can't go out to the parks and so forth? Are there things that we can do in our homes, in our yard, to exercise, to manage diabetes? Because we have to be very aware that after the pandemic is over, persons who are diabetic need to be well managed, because we know about the complications of uncontrolled blood sugar. And persons who are not diabetic, we are saying that lifestyle factors inclusive of exercise, limited exercise, will contribute to a person becoming diabetic. So let's look at some of the things that we can do at home. Anyone have any idea, any thought of anything that we can do before I share?
Yes, I have some idea.
Go ahead, Veronica.
Well, you know, we have an imagination, right? And I used to do this long ago. where you could actually imagine that you're out walking, but you could just be walking right inside your house. And you could actually, well, walk in. I used to like jog on the same spot, and you're going up the road and you imagine that you run around the whole savannah probably about 3 or 4 times. So you could use the imagination and you know, and to be able to get some exercise, thinking that, okay, I'm out walking. So you won't actually be thinking that you're inside the house, and you'll be able to get the exercise done. I'm thinking like that.
Beautiful. And that is something we call walking on one spot. So virtual walking is actually something that persons can begin to engage in. If you have a TV where you could log on to YouTube, you can stand in front of your television and you can YouTube search virtual walking, and you actually see a trail of a park or different places. And you are there watching at the television and you are actually walking. And as you walk, you will begin to build a sweat because you're doing cardiovascular exercise there by walking. And it's very exciting because you're watching at that screen. For persons who don't have a television that could connect to YouTube, you can use your phone, right? So you can put your phone in a space where you can actually see what's happening, and you Google that virtual park, virtual walking exercise, and you do your 20 to 30 minutes walk. So Veronica, that's a very, very good idea. It's a very good option for persons who cannot go out and exercise. They can actually stand and walk on one spot, and you can make it a little more interesting by YouTubing this virtual park. So that's a good idea. Anybody else have any idea they would like to share?
Hi, morning, Mr. Gums. This
Good
is
morning.
Farah.
Hi, Farah.
I know you mentioned to me a while back that for those who can't walk due to knee pain, back pain, those kind of stuff, they can use the chair. And there are many different exercises that you can do right sitting, where you lift your arms, you lift your legs. You could use your trapeze and use them as weights. And you don't even have to move too much that, you can cause discomfort already to your body. And it is pretty surprising to know that it really comes in handy, that you will never believe that you actually build a sweat doing leg exercises on a chair. And to me, that is one way we can continue exercise. But for me, I know I have lapsed a little bit, but it's always getting back into the groove, always encouraging yourself to make the step forward. I have to do this for my health. It's important. And once you get that first step, you'll see how easy it is to always continue.
Very, very true, Farah. And that is important. You touched on a couple things there. One, falling off track and getting back on track. Yes, the hardest thing to begin to do is to start to exercise. But guess what? When you make that step and you begin to exercise and you begin to do it, it's smooth sailing. The other thing that you touched on there relates to sitting on a chair and doing simple exercises right there. So again, for persons who like to watch TV, because I know a lot of persons love to watch television. So here it is, you could put on your favorite TV show, program, the news, whatever. And in the comfort of your home, you can sit, and the tins of peas in your cupboard, you can utilize them. So there's no need to go and buy a 10-pound weight or a 5-pound weight or anything. You get your 2 tins of peas, you hold them in either hand, and you 1 down, next one, 1, 2, 2, 3. And it's beautiful. And as Farah would have said, you build a sweat, because that's what you want to do. You want to build a sweat. You want to burn calories. And for doing that over a period of time, you will realize that your blood sugar levels are controlling. So in the absence of going to the park and going and take a jog around the neighborhood, you can use your home. So Veronica would have spoken about standing and walking on one spot, and I would have included the virtual park that you could get on YouTube. And then Farah spoke about sitting and doing weights with the peas, even stretching your legs out, raising them up. And I would want to add to that, even sitting on your chair, folding your hands across your chest, and standing and sitting. So you stand and you sit. You do that about 10 times, and then you sit. Now, some persons can do more. So if you want to do 20 or 30, and then you stop, and then you repeat it 3 to 4 or 5 times, then that's good. But for persons in beginning any exercise, it's important that you begin very slow. So 10, stop, and you repeat it 3 times. That's good enough. Anybody else have any exercise that they would like to share that we can do outside of going and running in the park?
A favorite one is dancing.
Oh. Tell us about dancing, Nizam.
No, well, you're in your home, and normally everyone will have their radio on or their stereo or whatever, and they're playing music. It is a proven fact that once you start to dance, you start to sweat. So if you do a little dance for about half an hour or 15 minutes, they call it Zumba. I think they call it Zumba or something like that. You just dance. Whatever dance you dance, you'll sweat.
Yeah. And this way we can get other members of the family involved, eh?
Correct.
Yeah. We pull some people from our family members, and we put on some music and we all dance together, you know? And that does several things. In addition to exercising, you're socializing, you're building family bonds. That's a beautiful idea, Nizam. That's a beautiful idea, to dance. Yeah? Because you're going to burn calories, you're going to manage diabetes along with other non-communicable diseases, and you're going to build family relationships too. Very good. So today, our meet and vlog, yeah, it's a video chat where we share with each other. You know, today we are looking at diabetes, and we just wanted to clear up the misconceptions of diabetes, that persons who think that diabetes can be cured, or they are isolated from diabetes and they could just don't eat properly, don't exercise. That's a big misconception. It is very likely, there's a very big risk that if you don't exercise and eat properly, which means not eating plenty per se, but also missing meals, you can put yourself at risk of developing diabetes. And after the pandemic is over, we would like to have in our country and in our group persons who are, one, if you are diabetic, you are well controlled. We don't want persons becoming uncontrolled during this time. And two, our members who are not diabetic. We don't want you to become diabetic. So we want you to understand that there are lifestyle factors that contribute to persons becoming diabetic, and there's a need for you to exercise. There's a need for us even during this time. And there's something called stress eating. And this is something that we will look at next month. When you are at home and you are you're not working, you're not doing anything, and even in your subconscious, you begin to, you become stressed. And because you become stressed, you walk to the kitchen frequently and you eat, and then you sleep, and then you get up and you eat, and then you sleep, and then you get up again and you eat, and you sleep, because the question would be, what else is there to do? But next month, I hope to share some answers with you. There are many things that we can do. Even though we're at home, we can't go out. There are plenty of things. So I want you all to think of some of the things that we can do during this time of lockdown to prevent us from overeating or not eating enough. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Gums,
Hi.
before you go, can a person reach the point after exercising for a certain, let's say for a certain number of years, can they reach the point where they no longer need to take their medication?
So that's a beautiful question, Nizam. As a person gets older, and let's say the person has been managing very well, the person has been eating properly, the person has been taking their medication, the person has been exercising. What would determine a person coming off of medication is doing an HbA1c, which we know is the test that is done, the blood test that is done, to see how well a person's blood sugar level would have been controlled for the last 3 months. Now, if a person begins to have continuous low blood sugar, often referred to as hypoglycemia, and the person blood sugar levels at home, keep reading under 8A and so forth, then it would be the determination of the medical doctor to have a conversation with that person, and then the doctor will make the decision, okay, this person needs to come off medication because the medication is contributing to low blood sugar, which is very risky. Now, even though that has happened, it doesn't mean that the person got cured from diabetes, and that is a misconception that I want us to be aware of. Having to stop medication for diabetes doesn't mean that you are cured. It means that you have been well controlled. And in reality now, what happens is that you are diabetic, but controlled on diet and exercise. Because there's a need for you to continue eating properly. There's a need for you to continue doing your exercise. It just means that you don't need to take medication per se. So to answer your question, Nizam, after years of exercising, can a person stop medication? The short answer would be no. And the long answer would be, that's a conversation we need to have with doctor.
Right. The reason why I asked that question is because I have an aunt. She's approaching 80, and she's a rigorous walker. She walks every morning. Well, now that she's approaching that age, she has stopped walking because of other illnesses. But a couple of times she went by the doctor, and the doctor tells her she's not diabetic, because I think every time she goes, her sugar is under 100 or whatever it is. So he told her that she's not. And I don't think she. Well, for me, I don't think she takes the medication anymore.
Yeah, and that is very possible, Nizam. And those are a number of different things that we can look at, because what would have been the criteria used to diagnose diabetes in the first place, and then her age being another factor. And the reality is that her blood sugar levels are normal. So therefore, that's a decision that you would have realized that the doctor and herself would have made together. And that is something that I want to encourage persons. Even though you may find that your blood sugar levels may be, let's say, the normal blood sugar range for a person who's diabetic is 80 to 120. So let's say that you realize that your blood sugar levels have been 80 and 75 and thereabout. Do not stop on your own and stop taking the medication. It's important that you have a conversation with your doctor, and together you make that decision. Yeah, because the doctor would know to do different blood tests to see how things have been going. And then the doctor would watch at your home readings. And that's another important factor, that you do your blood sugar readings at home. And together with a conversation that would happen between both of you, the doctor will make that decision. But many times over the years, what we have seen is that persons would just stop taking the medication. Another thing that we have seen over the years is that doctor would have prescribed, let's say, metformin for someone who is diabetic, and they don't go back to the doctor. They just go to the pharmacy and they buy the metformin. And for years and years and years and years, they just take metformin and they have no blood tests. They have no consultation. They have no reviews by the doctor. And that is not a good thing as well. So even though we understand that diabetes is a chronic disease, it's a lifelong condition, if you go once to the doctor a couple of times and you are placed on medication, there is still the need for you to go to the clinic or go to your private doctor and be reviewed. Review means to see how you are going, to see how the medication is working, and do the relevant blood investigations to know what is going on inside of your body. So we cannot look at persons and say, well, oh, you're looking good. No, you need to do blood investigations to know what is happening. So ladies and gentlemen, this morning, I thank you all for logging on to our very first meet and vlog. Yes, so it's a forum where we would log on once a month and we would share our thoughts on different health topics. This morning, we were able to look at diabetes, and I think we have come to an understanding for the most part that diabetes is a chronic disease. Coralie, cinnamon, okra, water, and the works do not cure diabetes, but it may be helping control. There's a need for the person to make lifestyle changes as to help control diabetes, not to cure it, but to help control, meaning that your sugar levels may be 2 something, 3 something, but by making lifestyle changes, you will get your sugar level down to the normal range where you become safe. There are different things that we can do. Even as we are in a state of lockdown, we can exercise at home, and we can continue to eat in smaller portions and space our meals properly. So I thank you all for logging on this morning, and I do hope that you all would log on next month on the first Saturday of each month at 10 a.m. We would log on. Come prepared to share your views. Come prepared to share your opinion. Even if it might be controversial, come prepared to share it, and we will clear up those misconceptions for you. So ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all for logging on this morning. Do have a blessed and a very productive day. Keep safe, continue to wear your mask, continue to be safe.
Thank you.